mistaken if you think that I'm awake and celebrating anything that I've become.
What's going on, everyone? How are we doing? I hope there's no delay. I hope everyone's having a wonderful day. My voice still has not healed. This microphone sensitivity is entirely too high, but I guess we're going to have to deal with that. How is everyone doing? I hope you're doing great. Welcome to the Twitch pregame. I'm a Piker. Whoa, that is. I don't know what that widget came from, but I guess someone is also following my Twitch right now. Oh, I forgot to tell you guys. I have widgets now. This is not a big deal for people on Facebook who probably have no idea what widgets are, but yeah, this has been a long time coming, and you guys should see what happens when someone subscribes. Anyway, it's really cool, and it's a surprise though. We'll wait for Twitch to actually. We'll wait for the Twitch stream to actually start launching before you see that. I'll just say it has something to do with Alex Jones. It has everything to do with Alex Jones. Wait, let me just turn this off. Yeah. All right, let's look there. Let's field through some questions here. Do you like eggs? I'm serious. I need to know this. How do you like them? In a box, in a fox, in a tree, I do like eggs, yes. I'm a fan of eggs. What's my favorite Grateful Dead tune? I don't have one. I'm afraid to admit that I'm a total poser when it comes to Grateful Dead. Total poser. Oops. Total and absolute poser. I do have conservative friends, absolutely. I have conservative friends from a wide ranging spectrum. I have libertarian friends. I even have friends that go further than libertarianism. What are my thoughts on the walk away movement? Okay. Brent, great question. Great question. And that's what we're going to take a look at. Good. You reminded me. Okay. We're going to look at the walkaway movement today. The hashtag walkaway movement. Now, some of you guys might have heard of this already. And if so, then. Well, oh, cool. We just got another subscriber. That's tight. Or another follower, sorry. Thank you, Strategy Mania. So, the walkaway movement. Man, these things are gonna keep popping, huh? It's very jarring. I didn't even realize that that was going to be the case. Um, I'm pulling up a video from the walkaway movement right now, but some of you guys might be familiar with this. It's like half fake, half real movement started by this this white gay dude who used to be a huge progressive and is now a Trump supporter. Now,
And now there's this, a news grassroots movement urging Democrats
you might be
who are fed up.
thinking, hold on, let's pause this. Now, you might be thinking, how? How could someone just make such a drastic turn and go from a Democrat to someone like Donald Trump who embodies, he's basically the antithesis of democratic principles of liberalism? Well, that's because the movement is largely BS. It's definitely.
And now there's this, a news grassroots movement
Why
urging
is this still
Democrats
playing?
who are fed up with their party to.
God damn it. This always happens. Hold on. Alright. There we go. Okay, let's take a look at this. Boom.
The hashtag walk away. It's called the Walk Away Movement, and it's gaining serious momentum. Joining us now, Candace Owens of Turning Point USA. Candace, you and I talked about this a little bit on Friday. I cannot believe over the weekend, that's all I saw on Twitter, and people are really grateful. I know also Turning Point's working on a similar campaign, but explain to the audience what's going on here.
Look, I think it's the most natural thing in the entire world. Unfortunately, the left and the Democrats, the party is unrecognizable to many people, especially millennials. They've become violent, they've become extreme, and I think beyond that, they have really radical ideas. Altogether,
Imagine that people, especially millennials, who are way more prone to radicalization, who voted in insanely high numbers for a very radical candidate like Bernie Sanders, leaving the Democratic Party and going to Donald Trump. Like what an insane world we live in. We live in a world now where we could just make up anything we want. And as long as there's enough GOP mega donors or shadowy billionaires to back you, it'll stick. We'll have these super cool looking Turning Point USA videos that we'll shoot out of these. Yeah, we'll have these super cool Turning Point USA videos that we shoot out of these studios, and we'll act as though this is a real thing that's happening for sure, and not necessarily led by people like Candace Owens and led by people like that other guy who is the founder of the Walkaway movement, who are doing this just for monetary compensation and nothing else. Sure.
talking about socialism.
Yeah, that's why. That's why people are leaving the Democratic Party. They're like, I really hate this. I really hate that the Democratic Party, for the first time ever, is actually standing by leftist principles. So I'm gonna go and instead, I'm gonna go to the complete opposite direction and become an anarcho-capitalist all of a sudden. You know what? Fuck socialized medicine. I don't want universal health care anymore. Then why would these people have ever joined the Democratic Party to begin with? Why would they join the other side? Why would they go and there's nothing. I criticize the Democratic Party often. Okay? I criticize it all the time. Some people tell me I do it too frequently, as a matter of fact. But the difference between the two parties is still very clear when it comes to social issues. So if people are Democrats because of identity politics, because they believe that that's the right side to be on morally, they're not going to turn around and decide that the Republicans are all of a sudden, quote unquote, the real woke ones, you know? And when it comes to progress, when it comes to economic policies, a lot of people are Democrats because they believe in some of the economic progressive positions that fiscally progressive positions that the Democratic Party is supposed to represent. The Democratic Party doesn't necessarily represent that anymore. However, that doesn't mean that they would completely switch over to the other side and decide, oh, you know what? No, tax cuts for the wealthy are actually what I want. The Democrats weren't offering that in high enough margins, so I'm a Republican now.
As a platform, which, as we both know, has killed over 100 million people in the last 100 years. How can people say on the left anymore?
But the notion also, though, that people are now brave enough to walk away. I mean,
this is also ridiculous. The socialism conflation with communism and these insanely inflated numbers. 100 million people were killed by socialism. Such a ridiculous concept. First of all, there are not that many people who are advocating for full-blown socialism in the Democratic Party. There's definitely there are definitely more people than ever before who feel bold enough to say the S word, especially in the aftermath of Bernie Sanders' success. A lot more people felt emboldened. Some people decided that this was a idea that made more sense for them. But that conflation is ridiculous. It's a Charlie Kirk line. It's ridiculous. Anyone who's ever read a history book knows that that's ridiculous. Socialism is different than democratic socialism. That's all completely different than authoritarian or totalitarian communist dictatorships. And then on top of that, um, the death toll, putting all of that under socialism or whatever, like putting that all under Americans wanting universal health care is baby shit. You have to really be stupid to think that that is a real criticism of the modern Democratic Party, which was led by Barack Obama, who didn't even instill punitive measures on big banks in the aftermath of the 2008 financial crisis, and also took Bush's sunsetting tax cuts and made them permanent. That's the Democratic Party we're talking about. Straying away from that and believing in some more socialist policies is only a better thing for us. At least we now will have a differentiating factor than the Republicans, aside from being performatively woke or doing identity politics.
Listen, you take a considerable amount of backlash if you're part of any sort of special interest group that is expected to be Democrat. And people are shocked when you're not a Democrat. If you're a black person and you're not a Democrat, people are shocked.
I wonder why. Maybe it's because we already know that the Republican Party's main constituency is white voters, and they don't even hide that reality. The modern Republican Party, modern day, in the aftermath of the Civil Rights Movement, Republican Party, and that base has made it very clear that they have racial anxieties. So you're basically siding with the people who don't really want you in positions of power. That's why it's rather strange. There's no other reason for it to be strange. Anyway, let's keep going.
If you're Hispanic and you're not a Democrat, people are shocked, and it takes a certain amount of courage to quote hashtag walk away.
It definitely does. And I think what we can contribute this to is social media. Social media has provided that courage to people because you're looking around and you're seeing so many like-minded individuals pop up. Me, as a black person who says, look, I have conservative values. Then many people that trailblazed before me, like Larry Elder, Condoleezza Rice, and Dr. Ben Carson, they didn't have social media in the way that we have it today, which allows us to springboard off of their ideas and make it okay to come out. The walk away hashtag was started by a gay hairdresser in New York City. So we're seeing so many people pop up. And as I said, this is just the beginning. I really do believe we are seeing the end of the Democratic Party as we know it.
Oh, God. I want what kind of drugs this person is on. I really do. It's just, it's such madness to think that the party that has, that won the majority, the popular vote, in elections that they've lost twice now, in my lifetime at least, is the party that's going to be disbanded. No. The only reason that Republicans are in positions of power here right now in America, despite losing the popular vote, is because of the Electoral College, because of gerrymandering, because Republicans operate under the assumption that they are the moral minority, so they have to rig the system in any possible way they can to have a non-representative elected body. They know that. Democrats, on the other hand, are silly and assume that everyone should be Democrats because we are on the right side of history, because we're progressives. And I do believe that, for sure. But Democrats are not prone to fighting dirty because of that, because we think, like, oh, we should have, we should abide by some made-up rules of civility that the other side never abides by. All right, let's keep going.
One for you. On that same note, there's a poll out showing that millennials supported Democrats for Congress, slipping by 9 percentage points in the past couple of years. I mean, listen, it seems like there's a massive shift to the GOP, but more particularly away from Democrats, and it's centered amongst millennials. What do you make of that?
Well, just look at some of the facts here. Look at the priorities on the left. They've been highly focused on illegal immigrants, the 2,000 illegal immigrants that were separated from their families. And yet we see that there are millions of kids that are in.
I don't even know what to say to that. I just to behave as though the only thing the Democrats care about are 2,000 illegal immigrants is a very interesting way of analyzing the humanitarian crises that the U.S. government created basically as a deterrence measure, putting little children and babies into baby concentration camps is vile, and so transparently vile that Americans, both Republicans and Democrats, said enough is enough. This isn't like some sort of Chuck Schumer created, Nancy Pelosi backed Democratic legislation. This is just us being normal human beings, Candace Owens. This is us having a moral compass.
In foster care, and millions of kids that have been separated by their parents that have been in prison. So it's about seeing really where their priorities lie. They're starting to wake up and understand that their interests.
Also hilarious that Candace constantly drops the prison line, given the fact that she switched over to the Trump administration, this administration that brought back private prisons. Like one of the few good things that the Obama administration did that was beyond criticism was finally abolishing the usage of private prisons. Completely unethical, completely immoral, should not exist. Trump, of course, brought it back. Why? Because there's great need for private prisons when you're imprisoning hundreds of thousands of illegal immigrants or legal immigrants that you will deem illegal down the line when you're trial ballooning ethnic cleansing. But yeah, go on. Yeah, that's why people are walking away, because the Republicans are all of a sudden the party that's soft on crime, that focuses on rehabilitation. Like, I mean, I don't know. I guess people are dumb enough to believe this, I guess. I really don't know. I don't think Candace is dumb enough to believe the shit that she's saying. I think she knows that it's kind of a hard sell to sell the Republican Party. Especially the current form of the Republican Party, where they've dropped the respectability politics aspect of everything. It's not like it's Mitt Romney talking about ethnic cleansing. It's Donald Trump talking about ethnic cleansing. So he literally says it exactly how the legislation's outcomes are supposed to look like. Instead of saying we need stronger borders, he just says Mexicans are rapists. You know, dehumanizes immigrants as a whole. Yeah, that's the party that immigrants should actually, or first generation, second generation immigrants should actually vote for. The party that may or may not decide that they could be denaturalized at any point with this new immigration task force that the Trump administration created. Yeah, vote for that guy. Fucking so stupid.
Have not been for us in a long time, and yet they've been insisting on using our identities, whether we're black, our sexual orientations, whether we're.
I love that, because Candace Owens likes to talk about identity politics to behave as though she's beyond it, and yet her entire reason for having a job at Turning Point USA, and this is not something I made up, this is something that she admitted to on camera, and you can find my old Candace Owens video to see for yourself. The entire reason why she has a job at Turning Point USA is because she was a black woman who criticized black people and who said things that we hear from white Republicans all the time. Charlie hired her on the spot after she said, "What about black people? Why isn't there any accountability on our end?" Ever since then, of course, she's gradually become more and more of a sock puppet for Turning Point USA, but or mouthpiece. But yeah, let's move on. Identity politics. Whenever a Republican tries to tell you that you are conducting identity politics and that they are above that, understand that they're either A, doing identity politics for white people, so recognize that, or B, they're a minority, so their entire purpose is to make other minorities come back to the Republican Party to vote Republican, and they will use everything they will use their background, they will use their gender to make it seem like there is no more. I mean, to behave as though they've broken some crazy monolithic thought that they're finally free. I mean, Turning Point USA literally uses the language breaking free of the Democratic plantation. Seems a lot like a white person came up with that concept. But what do I know?
Or gay, lesbian, to sort of strap us down into the stale existence of the Democratic Party platform. And we're seeing a movement away from that, a movement towards ultimately individualism.
Yeah, I mean, in this particular poll, white men 18 to 34, 2016, 48% for Democrats in Congress. That number all the way down to 37%. And, you know, identity politics and selling of guilt, it seems to be backfiring.
Yeah, identity politics is backfiring. That minorities are finding individualism in the Republican Party. So we're just going to only give you the numbers of white men between the ages of 18 to 34, and how they have not only those numbers aren't white men that left the Democratic Party to go to start voting Republican. That's just white men that voted versus less white men that voted Democrat. Meaning a lot of especially that this last election cycle had historically low voter turnout. It's not a shocker that some percentage points were dropped in the number of white young men who voted Democrat. But it's okay. We know how to analyze different statistics, but we're not even going to look at that. We're just going to move on. It doesn't even need to make sense. You didn't even give us any numbers on how many black people voted or how many Latinos voted Republican rather than Democrat. Like, it's ridiculous that you're talking about identity politics and then you choose to give the number of white men. You know exactly what you're saying at that point. You're saying that identity politics alone is a frustrating message and it's not captivating enough for young white men, which is why they're deciding to either A, vote Republican, or B, not vote at all. It's mostly B.
The notion that everyone should be guilty or angry or have some sort of animosity against someone who's not like them, whether it's income related or race related or sexual orientated related. I'm just surprised, shocked, to be quite frank with you, at how much devastation is happening to the Democrats on this.
I'm not shocked whatsoever. I saw this. It's why I created my YouTube page initially. I saw this movement happening.
I saw an opportunity to capitalize on an opening in the marketplace as the Republican Party was becoming actively more racist. I decided, this is my moment. This is when I'll actually join the other side at the peak. Good job. Anyway, look, if you've been watching my videos for a long enough time, you know that I'm not necessarily the biggest advocate for the Democratic Party, especially the modern-day Democratic Party. I think we have strayed away from core principles. I don't think we fight enough for economic justice. And we only performatively care about social justice. It's not like black wealth grew under Barack Obama, or wealth for people of color grew under Barack Obama's administration. It didn't. Under Barack Obama, the numbers that Jeff Stein was showing earlier, I think it was a New York Mag piece I saw that I posted on my Instagram, that the top percentage point, the top 1% for wealth, grew by $4.9 million, I believe. I'm going to tell you exactly. Yeah, between 2007 and 2016, the average wealth of the top 1% increased by $4.9 million. At the same time, as the wealth of the median family declined by $42,000. So the top 1% still got wealthier under Barack Obama. That's the reason why we need to push further to the left and actually stand for something rather than just be the controlled opposition party. Because when you're just the controlled opposition party and you don't stand for anything and you performatively just tout identity politics without backing it up with legislation, when you can't even protect DACA immigrants. Chuck Schumer, I'm looking right at you, you son of a bitch. What the hell do you stand for? That's when clowns like fucking Candace Owens can turn around and try to pick apart and try to steal away voters to the Republican Party. The fact that people have the audacity, the fact that they can even say that the Democratic Party is in its essence worse than the Republican Party, and therefore you, as a person who probably have been oppressed by Republicans your entire life, should vote Republican. The fact that they even have the audacity to be able to say that, to me, shows that the Democratic Party is lacking a cohesive messaging strategy. And even worse, a clear agenda. But that's going to change. Hopefully, we'll see. We're putting up more and more progressive candidates all around the country. Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez was the first big victory that we had with the Justice Democrats, and there are more to come. There's an election in Michigan right now that we're following closely. We'll see. We'll see what happens. But on that note, here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to turn on my Twitch stream as well on the side so that I can start playing on Twitch, and I want you guys to come join me at twitch.tv/hasanAbi, because that's where I broadcast my oh shit, I forgot that I have not the regular camera setting up. Gonna have to change that really quickly, but that is twitch.tv/hasanAbi. I want you guys to come join me there. I'm gonna write it as well over here. Sorry. God, it's getting hot in here. So hot. So take off all your clothes. I am getting so hot. Yeah. That's the kind of good stuff that you get when you're on when you go on my my Twitch. It's very personal. It's up close and personal, and we go on for, and I usually stream for like 2 to 3 hours every day. Camera video settings. Okay. There we go. There we go. Back to Fortnite. Hey, I started my Twitch broadcast. I don't think independents are the right way to go. I'm sorry. I mean, independents are important for sure, but Ganima, the biggest threat to the world right now is economic inequality. And don't hear it from me. That's literally all wealthy people are talking about now at Davos, and whenever they get together to discuss how they dominate the world. It's all people talk about. It's not me. It's people that are a lot smarter than me. Solving economic inequality is going to be the greatest threat. Obviously, I think that capitalism is to blame for that, because economic inequality is a part of a working, healthy capitalist system. An exploited worker class is a part of that. Some people believe that it could be. I'm going to be playing, Trisha, I'm going to be playing Fortnite tonight. So, and then maybe Overwatch later on. But definitely Fortnite right now. Yeah, so everybody come join me on here. Come join me on my, there you go. And we got widgets and shit. Even though you can't see it when I'm playing. You'll be able to see it on my Facebook though. God damn, it's hot. Sweating. Popped a molly, I'm sweating. Woo! I play on the PlayStation, Ratom. Oh, so the other thing is, when you subscribe, I'll play with subscribers every Sunday as well. So, um, I love a universal job guarantee and also housing for all 100%. I'm currently on a MacBook, but I will be, okay, I'm going to move over to Twitch full time now. All right, everybody, thank you so much for joining. I love you all. Like I said, if you want to continue this conversation, I'm going to be playing Fortnite with some friends, with Amir Nakui from Pop Trigger and a couple other people. Hopefully, Jason from TMZ will be joining us later as well. That is twitch.tv/hasanAbi. That's twitch.tv/HASANABI. That'll be all for today. For now, I love you all, and bye-bye.